Hey there! Welcome to Queer Kid Stuff. I'm Lindsay, and today I'm talking to the grown-ups.
Ah, crap. I need an adult. I know one.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, can you be my adult?
What?
Can you be my adult? I need an adult.
Why do you need an adult?
See, I was gonna do a video response to Queer Kid Stuff, but the video is specifically for adults.
Wait, queer kid stuff?
Yeah, I wanted to do a response video, but I need an adult.
How did you find out about queer kid stuff? Did you disable restricted mode again? How'd you get past their parental controls?
Hey there everyone, and welcome back to a little bit more internet nonsense. Today, we're going to be looking at this queerdo named Lindsay.
Today we're talking about something near and dear to my heart. LGBTQ plus representation in children's media.
Hey, I'm LGTBQ. I'm gonna work in the media. Maybe this person with a degree in theater and gender studies could give me some useful information.
Right now, there is a serious lack of LGBTQ plus representation in children's media. Steven Universe and now Julie's Green Room on Netflix are the only shows for kids with legitimate LGBTQ plus representation that is specifically geared towards kids.
You can't be serious. I don't watch that much TV and film, but even I know that there's more than 2 pitiful TV shows that have representation and is designed for kids.
We've already talked about the queerness in Steven Universe, and in Julie's Green Room, one of the young puppet characters is gender nonconforming, which is so cool.
Actually, no. That puppet is not gender nonconforming. You could have even said that the puppet didn't have a gender and you'd be more right because it's a puppet. Emma Walton Hamilton, Julie Andrews' daughter, even said that the puppet was female. Look at this thing. This is a female. I know you have glasses. Maybe give them a quick clean and try again.
And when kids are watching these stories, those small queer moments usually fly by them without a second glance. It's hard to really call this LGBTQ plus representation for kids when they might not even notice it. If you think about all the press Beauty and the Beast got for its gay moment with LeFou, you need to remember that kids aren't reading those news stories or press releases in order to get the context that LeFou is intended to be queer.
Here we go. Here's the thing you kind of got right. Kids need context in order to get the subtleties of media. Sure, yeah, you can argue that. Some kids are stupid. Some kids are actually super smart. Unlike your gender, intelligence is actually on a spectrum.
It's actually pretty common for Disney to use LGBTQ plus stereotypes in their villain characters, like Ursula, who was actually modeled from a drag queen.
Wait, hold on. Explain this to me. You just went on a tangent about how kids don't go reading up on the backgrounds of characters. So how in the hell are they supposed to know that Ursula was modeled from a drag queen? I didn't know that. Did you know that? And how does that mean that Ursula herself is a drag queen? The best you could get is she gets out of her drag self and turns into a beautiful chick to try to stop Ariel from getting her voice back. You're gonna need to explain more if you want to say that she's a bad representation of LGTBQ stereotypes.
There's also Scar, Hades, and Jafar.
Okay, so we're gonna go through this one by one. Scar, a mildly campy lion who is specifically shown to be weaker than his older brother, thus one of the reasons he was not chosen to lead the pride. Camp does not mean gay. Weak does not mean gay. I know lots of straight guys who are incredibly camp and flamboyant. In fact, Scar is actually shown to be straight. In a deleted scene from The Lion King, he actually tries to get with Nala. This was originally the reason why Nala fled and even found Simba again in the first place, because she was so creeped out by Scar hitting on her that she ran away. Tell us what stereotypes he's using in order to make LGBTQ look bad, because as I said before, camp and flamboyant does not automatically mean gay. Now Jafar, an evil wizard in ancient Agrabah who uses his powers to try to take over the kingdom. I really don't know what stereotypes you think are present here. He's intelligent, dastardly, and actually kind of a perv. Right here from the wiki, it says that he's attracted to Jasmine for her body. Later on, he actually tries to force her to marry him. multiple times. Please tell me exactly what stereotype is in Jafar, because you failed to mention it. If you mean that he's a tiny bit camp and flamboyant, refer to my previous point. What about Hades, a powerful god of the underworld who wishes to escape his prison and take over Mount Olympus? Again, what stereotype are you looking for here? Here's his character traits from the wiki. Persuasive, hot-tempered, mysterious, wrathful, evil, cruel, funny, uncaring. I seriously don't see any LGTBQ stereotype here. Maybe abusive? I mean, domestic violence between same-sex couples is quite high. And even if you scroll down, one of his likes is flirting with Aphrodite. Oh, but wait, here's the Disney show Once Upon a Time. Hades actually shows up for an episode or two. In it, he falls in love with some chick named Zelina and has a nice little makeout session with her. Where is the gay in this? Or maybe you mean the actual Greek mythology Hades. You know, the one who fell in love with this chick Persephone and locked her away in the underworld to make her his queen, planning on stealing her virginity in the process? I didn't think that rapist was much of an LGBTQ stereotype. Not to normal people, at least. At most, you could claim that these characters might be bi. At most. But even that, please show me your evidence for it. I seriously don't understand where you're coming from. I think I need my adult again.
You can compare the few examples of actual positive LGBTQ plus representation in children's media with the hundreds and hundreds of movies and TV shows for kids that focus on romance between a boy and a girl.
Hundreds and hundreds of examples of heterosexual attractions? It's almost like we need to have a majority of straight couples in order to move the human race forward. I blame biology. Damn that homophobic, heteronormative, cis-normative biology.
Children's media has a huge bias towards heterosexual storylines.
Yes, media has a huge bias towards heterosexual storylines. You want to know what else it has? Representation of and hinting at homosexuality in everyday society. Ever heard of Frozen? What about the hashtag Give Elsa a Girlfriend? That made a huge storm when it was going around. People saw her and thought that she was a lesbian. Hell, there's dozens of articles about how she must be gay and that her ice powers are a metaphor for homosexuality. Let It Go became the new coming out anthem for God knows how long. What about Finding Dory? Yeah, that one film that we all waited for so long to come out, and it only turned out to be as good as staring at your fish tank. Everyone freaked out when they heard about the potential lesbian couple in it, but instantly were disappointed that they were barely even there. You want to know what the directors had to say about those women when asked if they were even gay? They can be whatever you want them to be, and we never asked them. You want to know why they responded with things like that? Because it doesn't even matter. It literally had nothing to do with the storyline. Period. And if they had been confirmed gay, I can guarantee that the SJW side would have been crying that they were only tokens and queer baiting like you brought up earlier in this very video. How about we go through a few other characters? You ever seen Paranorman? In there is a character named Mitch. He's big, strong, jock-type dude. Near the end of the film, he actually decides to talk about his boyfriend. Why not in How to Train Your Dragon 2? It wasn't overt, but it was hinted to Vikings being gay when Gobber the Belch said, "This is why I never married." This and one other reason. Look, Lindsay, these references are there for adults, not kids. Kids don't need to know these things in order to understand the gist of the plotline. Adults, however, need something to keep them entertained in order not to stab themselves in the eye with their big gulp straws while watching this film for the 10th time in a row. They need the subtle references. They need the jokes. They need something to make them actually enjoy spending their money too, not just the kid. Writing for children's media is incredibly hard, and I have serious respect for people that can do it well. You have to write for both the child and the adult seeing it with them. If you don't believe me, go back and watch one of your favorite kids' TV shows or films from when you were younger. There's probably a bunch of seriously adult-rated messages in there that you just didn't get as a kid. Because you shouldn't have. Because you were a kid.
This leads to a lot of problems. Because the larger purpose behind art and storytelling is for us as humans to see ourselves reflected back to us. And seeing your story and identity explored through art is incredibly validating.
If you aren't validated unless you see yourself reflected in the media you watch, then you have your own internal issues to deal with first. It is not media's job to give you the same amount of screen time as they would a straight person unless it fits their narrative for the show. And don't give me any of this equal representation stuff. LGTBQ people make up an estimated 5% of the world's population. That means to have equal representation based on their statistics, they deserve only 5% of the screen time. Deal with it.
This leads to bullying and increased rates of suicide and depression in LGBTQ+ youth, and that is unacceptable.
So when researching for this video, I was actually going to skip over these graphics because there were no sources in the description and I couldn't see where these were from. But you see this? Nah, this. All the way down here. Yeah, these are the sources for where this graphic is from. So I'm gonna take a brief glance at them. The first source is the Trevor Project. Already, this graphic has gotten something wrong. It says that questioning youth are 3 times more likely to attempt suicide, but here it only says 2 times. Not to mention the rates of transgender suicide attempts, according to this website, are at 40% of transgender adults, with 92% of them having been attempted before the age of 25. Here you cite only half of transgender youth contemplating it, while only 1/4 attempt it. This GLSEN study is an online survey that was advertised on Tumblr. I seriously don't think you can get any sort of accurate information from Tumblr, so the burden of proof is on you to prove to me that this information is accurate, because freaking Tumblr. This source gets its information from another citation, that being the GLSEN online survey again, but this time from 10 years earlier. This last source, once again, is an online survey, and even admits itself that it is not designed to be representative. Plus, it's elicited respondents through Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram. You're going to have to do better than that to get credible sources. The most I can do is give you benefit of the doubt that you didn't make these graphics on your own, but I still wasn't happy having to research it. So that's just about the end of the video, you guys. She spends the rest of it basically pimping out her Patreon and trying to sell her soul to the corporate devil. Maybe Disney will sponsor her. Wait a minute. Where was Teddy?